YouTube has continued to attack alternative media by demonetizing most of our videos. If you'd like to support the channel, please visit our Amazon store or our Patreon page. Links below. Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is the Mundane Matt channel. And over the course of the past couple months, the ripple effects that have come out from the Harvey Weinstein scandal have been far reaching. Going all the way to Washington, D.C. and other industries as well. And we find ourselves in a bit of a situation where many people are just kind of left questioning, what do I do? What to do next? How to go forward? And as a result of that, there's been many hot takes about the situation. But there's been this take is hysterical to me because it shows you precisely where some people's mindsets are in regard to all of this. They don't care anymore about trying to get it right. They just want to burn it all down. It's an anarchist mindset and not one that works when it comes to this particular situation, especially when you're dealing with accusations of sexual misconduct and whether or not some of those accusations are considered false. Now, this particular feminist writer, Emily Linden, has come under fire from some posts she made yesterday that were hysterical for how tone deaf they were and just utterly ridiculous. So it says here, feminist writer closes off Twitter after saying she's cool with sacrificing innocent men to fight sexual misconduct. And if you think that's a salacious clickbait headline, it's not. It's legitimately what happened. So Teen Vogue, and you have to love that it starts off Teen Vogue. Right? Like Lauren Duca's going like, this is my girl, dog, because pretty much they work from the same place. Teen Vogue columnist and feminist Emily Linden posted a series of tweets Tuesday night about false harassment and assault allegations against men. Her hot take. She's fine with it, saying, I'm actually not at all concerned about innocent men losing their jobs over false harassment and allegations. Linden said at the beginning of a string of comments. Her Twitter profile has gone private since then, and the response hasn't exactly been kind. And it's true. It's true. It's one of those things where it's just like, holy crap. Now, there's a string of tweets that this article doesn't contain, and I'm having trouble finding the archive for. But essentially what it is she goes, she says, I'm not at all concerned about innocent men losing their jobs over false sexual assault / harassment allegations. Which is incredibly sad. It's incredibly pathetic that is exactly the mindset she takes. And she doubles down on it repeatedly, saying that basically if you want to undo the patriarchy, you're going to have to break a few eggs. And that is so sad that we're at this point right now where these accusations are coming out, at full force from every angle. You don't know which is true. You don't know which is not true. They've happened decades ago or they've happened recently. There's photographic evidence or video evidence or just tweet allegations, Tumblr post allegations, Facebook post allegations. You name it, they're everywhere, and making heads or tails of them is difficult to do, especially when we're in this listen and believe mentality and where we're at this point of trying to do away with due process, which is exactly what Emily here is suggesting. And that is so insanely sad. And the thing is, there were people out there that were backing her on this. Now, the results or the responses to her post on Twitter were definitely not filled with a lot of support, but that there are people out there who definitely were supporting that and were supporting this whole burn it all down mentality, get the men out. And I was talking about this with my girlfriend earlier today. I said that right now there's this attack on men in this regard where no one cares. Like, at least that side of things, they don't care about false accusations or false information coming out. I have a big problem recently with late night comedy. Stephen Colbert and Seth Meyers, to be specific, multiple times they have made jokes at the expense of some of these accusations, but their information that they're putting out there isn't accurate. There's minor fallacies or minor details they've gotten wrong. And while the overall idea there I think is the same, those screw ups can have a ripple effect of their own. Now, it goes on to say that Linden went on to explain that such situations don't occur very often, saying, first, false allegations very rarely happen. So even bringing it up borders on a derailment tactic. It's a microscopic risk in comparison to the issue at hand, worldwide systemic oppression of half of the population. Yeah, okay, fine. Again, as we pointed out, where did those statistics come from? It wasn't about actual survivors of assault. It was about whether or not you feared you might one day be assaulted. That's the whole study. It's not correct. So that, that argument, same thing Lena Dunham tried, doesn't hold water here. Again, throwing some water on the fire The ultra hot take, I should say, that is her post. Lest one think that her lack of concern is solely due to these things not happening, Linden made it very clear she believes that even when innocent men are ruined by false accusations, it's all worth it for the greater good. Yes, because that's how you rebuild society. You cast out any and all who've been accused, even if you get it wrong a couple times. It's one of the reasons why we've slowed down on the death penalty, right? You just want to make sure that you got it right, even though we have executed people who have been innocent before, or jailed people who've been innocent for decades on end. I mean, these mistakes happen, and we should not just go, it's all right for the greater good, for the greater good. This kind of thing isn't a freaking deterrent. It's not going to work the way you want it to. And the fact that you're even remotely espousing that idea without even possibly taking into consideration another train of thought just goes to show you precisely one of the reasons why Twitter needs to just burn. She goes on to say here that the benefit of all of us to getting to finally tell the truth plus impact on victims plus the impact on victims far outweigh the loss of any one man's reputation. Yeah, because it goes back to the whole thing. Hey, if you had to, kill one person or kill your child in order to cure cancer, would you do it? I mean, you could always just kind of follow up with that question. And if she doesn't answer yes, then she's a hypocrite. If some innocent man's reputation has to take a hit in the process of undoing the patriarchy, that's a price I'm absolutely willing to pay. Now, here's the thing, and it does get echoed down at the end of the article by Jake Tapper, and he's 100% correct here. That's not a price she will pay. That's not a price at all she'll pay. So it's one of those really stupid things where she's like, well, if a man loses a job over false accusations, I'm totally okay with it. It's the price we have to pay to undo the patriarchy. Yeah, but you ain't paying nothing. In this particular case, in this particular point, you've got all the privilege in the world, Emily. And you don't seem to give much of a crap about that at all. It goes on to say, forget about due process or innocent until proven guilty. Well, to be fair, we've done away with those mentalities for a while. Social media has only made it worse. Linden apparently feels that these are useless obstacles in the way of tearing down the real monsters, and if actual good people's lives are damaged while bringing down the bad guys, she has no problem with them being martyrs for the cause. Again, that's not a price she will pay. She's not putting on a vest and running into a crowd of people going Aloha snack bar, and then, she's not doing that. So she's literally doing nothing here and wanting the benefit of it, which, if I recall correctly, would be considered a privilege. You have it, Emily. So Linden justifies this by saying that countless women have been unfairly harmed, so it's fair play if man suffers too. No, it's not. Because this isn't like, the same thing here. It's a false equivalence. This is apples and oranges. It truly is. She goes, how many of our reputations have suffered unfairly? How many of our lives have already been destroyed because of physical violence against us? Why was that acceptable, but now one man's potential unfair loss of a career opportunity is not? Because that one man had nothing to do with the crime. The crimes are based on the individual, not this proposed or supposed patriarchy we keep hearing so much about. You want to say, and this is the mindset that's put forward by these liberal progressives that come out here and they make these claims. It's all the patriarchy's fault. No, it's you pointing the blame at something else. And even when you're in the moment where you guys have the spotlight and you guys technically have the power, you're still putting it on something else. And that, of course, is very much the extreme liberal mindset. It's one of the reasons why that no matter what you do, you'll never be able to win with these people. No matter how much you compromise in hopes of trying to find a middle ground, you will barely be able to compromise with these people. I don't have an answer for how to fix the problem. I don't know how to fix the problem. I don't know how to stop people from doing this kind of stuff. We have the epidemic in schools right now where women are assaulting students at an alarming rate. We're finding out about this almost once a week, it feels like. Way more cases of female students or female teachers going after young boys. And it's very frequent how often this is happening. That's an epidemic to an extent, but yet we don't see any talks about that. No one's up there holding a sign saying, what about our boys in school? Because even Colbert made a joke about that the other day where, he was saying like, oh, well, where's this road of women that are chasing boys, right? Making a joke about sexual assault of young men. Because in our current society, and yeah, I'm going to go full on MRA right here. In our current society, men, boys, young boys, they don't matter in that regard. They're not given the same treatment because they're seen as like, oh, they wanted it. Oh, they were fine with it. Oh, it's okay. You know, but they're still considered the aggressors and the attackers rather than ever being seen as a victim. Because if you never actually associate that thing with victim, you know, the victimization of young men and young boys from a predatory stance of females in power, you know, then you don't ever have to acknowledge that your own gender can be equally as screwed up as the one you're currently campaigning against, Emily. This is the hypocrisy of feminism. This is the hypocrisy of a lot of the left-leaning rhetoric. And don't get me wrong, the right is not any better in some respects. Okay, so I'm not giving them a pass wholeheartedly, but this particular subject, when it comes to the right or when it comes to the left, they were just like, oh no, men are always the abusers, always the attackers. Oh, what's that about women having sex with high school boys and the middle school boys and sending them lewd photos on Snapchat and things like that? Ah, that never happens. And if it does happen, the boys clearly wanted it. Victim blaming is what I hear a lot out of that particular part of the conversation, and I just find it to be hysterical because this is where the mindset operates here. This is Emily's victimization, trying to justify her own bigotry and discrimination because she's mad about things. And I get it. Be mad. Hell yeah, be mad. Right? There clearly is problems within entertainment industry in Washington, in business, where people in positions of power can use that against their subordinates in a way that is highly inappropriate. But it's not just men. I mean, look over at the education world and tell me it's all a man's fault. Right? Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so Jake Tapper chimed in on this, and I like what Jake Tapper says. He says, I'm guessing you didn't get a good grade on your 7th grade report for To Kill a Mockingbird. That's true. Right? And you could always sit there and argue the story of Boo Radley and To Kill a Mockingbird, but I love it now because even Harper Lee's book is oh, that's just racist. It's just racist. You know, they've been attacking Harper Lee's book over this for a while now because it gets brought up a lot in this discussion. Like, did you not ever read To Kill the Mockingbird when you were a kid? They go, whoa, don't try to equate that to this. It's not the same thing at all, even though it's all about due process and false accusations and things like that. It's hysterical to me because this is the mindset of the left, is that they always want to overlook certain things because it backs their narrative. And again, right does it too, so no one's perfect, but this is a case where I can, you know, I can very much call that out. So then Tapper responded to the entire thread, saying here, I read the thread. You said if some innocent men's reputations have to take a hit in the process of undoing the patriarchy, that's a price I'm absolutely willing to pay. That's immoral, and it's not a price you would be paying. By the way, it would be an innocent men doing that, which is very true. Very true. So you have a white, affluent feminist writer for Teen Vogue saying it's okay if innocent men get tossed under the bus and have their lives destroyed as a result of this whole witch hunt in Hollywood and beyond, trying to find any and all sexual harassers or sexual abusers. And don't get me wrong, man, I'm on board with you know, dragging these stuff into the sunlight, letting the chips fall where they may, but going through the process of, you know, due process and innocent until proven guilty and everything else. But it's always funny to look to see these lefties, these feminists' hot take on it, because it shows you precisely where their bigotry lies. And it's good to see that it's getting called out for the absolute horse shit that it is. Hey guys, that wraps up this video. If you'd like to leave a comment, please do so below. I love to read your guys' input. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button. It really does help me in the YouTube algorithm. If you want to support the channel, there's the Amazon affiliate store, there's PayPal, there's Patreon, there's Bitcoin. And if you're bored and you want something else to watch, check out 3 Buck Theater up here. My name is Matt Jarbo. I will talk to you guys later. Have yourself a wonderful day. Peace out.